Hey guys, Michael B. the Game Genie here, and today I'm here to share 5 random gaming facts about me that no one cares about, probably. Anyways, I was tagged. This is a tag video, and I was tagged by Billy from the GameChasers. How cool is that? I'm a huge fan of the GameChasers. In fact, the GameChasers were one of the first channels I ever subscribed to on YouTube. I'm a huge fan. I've watched all their episodes 100 times, and Billy's a really super nice guy. Anyways, I'll stop gushing now. So anyways, Billy, thank you so much for tagging me. This is so cool. I love tag videos and response videos. It's one of the biggest things I did when I first got into YouTube, and why I made a YouTube account was to respond to some of my favorite YouTubers. And it's kind of cool looking at the people that I'm actually tagged with. One of them is the 16-Bit Brothers. And the cool thing was, the GameChasers used to do a show called That's the Way Gameplay and Go, and it encouraged response videos, and that's actually how I met the 16-Bit Brothers, because we both did response videos to their episodes for That's the Way Gameplay and Go, so cool beans. Anyways, that's besides the fact. That's besides the fact. I'm here to share 5 random gaming facts about me that no one cares about, so let's start right in the beginning. How did I get interested in YouTube and retro gaming again? Well, that's kind of interesting, because it wasn't retro gaming and it wasn't YouTube that really got me interested. It was actually the Wii. The Wii Virtual Console. Yeah, that's right. I was a huge fan of the Wii Virtual Console, so much so that I probably have about 200 games downloaded. I know that's crazy. It's probably not that many, but it's close. Anyways, when it first came up, the idea of playing the Nintendo games again seemed okay, and I got a couple games right off the bat. But what really hooked me was the fact that you could get TurboGrafx-16 games. I was a huge fan of the TurboGrafx-16 growing up, and I never owned my own console. Which is crazy, because everybody else on the road had a TurboGrafx-16. I was the only one who didn't. Yeah, I know, I grew up in Bizarro land. Anyways, the fact that I could get the TurboGrafx-16 games, that's what really drew me to it. And then from that, I played so many other. I think I only have like 3 Sega Genesis games. I know that's terrible, but mostly it's NES games, a couple of the Super Nintendo games, and yeah, mostly TurboGrafx-16 games. And I'm still a huge fan of the Wii Virtual Console today. In fact, I use it all the time, because some of the games I really want to play for the TurboGrafx-16, like Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood. It's very expensive to actually get a physical copy, and I have always had a hard time finding a good emulator for TurboGrafx-16. I know I emulate. So anyways, the Wii Virtual Console sold a version of Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood, and I picked it up. I also have Newtopia 2, which is a really expensive and hard to find game that I play on that all the time, and Air Zonk and Super Zonk, I think. Super Air Zonk. Yeah, so, and Bonk's Big Adventure, that's another hard one to come by. So, yeah, my Virtual Console, playing TurboGrafx-16 games, I got so into it that that's what drew me back into retro gaming and led me to YouTube. Second fact about me that a lot of people don't know is I've been collecting an extremely long time. Yeah, 20 plus years. And before anybody says, oh, so you've been doing this for 20 plus years, why did you only start a YouTube channel recently, within the last 3? Well, hear me out here. What I mean by collecting is kind of like a historian, I guess that'd be the best way to put it. Back to when I was a kid, when I first got my first system, I was around 8 years old when I got my NES. And anyways, I got my games, and that was it. I just had the games, and I held on to them, and most of them, as many as I could. My dad gave some away. But I didn't really consider that collecting. It wasn't until I was 11 years old, and I got my Super Nintendo. The minute I got my Super Nintendo, I started fixating on the things that came with the Super Nintendo. So, you know, I still have all my Super Nintendo games, all the boxes, all the manuals, the system box, and from that point on, I kept everything. I kept everything in immaculate condition, and I just hoarded video games. So I've got an awesome collection outside of my NES, but I've got a great Super Nintendo collection, Sega CDs, Sega Genesis, and all this stuff comes from, a lot of it comes from my childhood. Like, if you take a look around, like, I've got a ton of box systems, most of that is directly from childhood. I've got a bunch of box Super Nintendo and 64, Sega Genesis games, all from my childhood, and that has accumulated over 20 years. I just never threw anything out, and I collected it ever since I was 11. So I mentioned in the last question that I never really started gaming until I was 8 years old, and I never got my first system. And a lot of people say, geez, that's kind of late. I mean, the NES came out in 1985. Well, see, the thing was, I wanted it a lot earlier than that. It's just I couldn't get it because my father didn't want me to get a system. Like, he was completely against it. Now, some of that was the fact that he was afraid that I'd stay inside all the time and put on weight, which did kind of happen, actually. But his main concern was that he heard a rumor that if you had your Nintendo or an Atari hooked up to a TV and it left on a lot, it would burn an image into the screen. So he was more concerned about his TV. So what I had to do was, my birthday was coming up, and I begged and pleaded. I wanted a Nintendo Entertainment System. So I had to save up my allowance for the better part of a year, and I actually saved up and chipped in and pretty much paid the majority of my first ever NES I got when I was 8, out of my allowance money. Then I had to make another concession, that I think for like the first 2 years I had my NES, I wasn't allowed to play it on our family's big TV. No, in fact, I had to go down in the basement on a little 13-inch black and white TV, and that's what I played the majority of my NES on beginning. So, if it wasn't for that arrangement, who knows, maybe I wouldn't have the 2,000 plus games I have today and all this stuff surrounding me. Well, this one is a little known fact about me, but anybody who's watched my Game & Watch series probably already knows this. I'm in fact terrible at video games. I am not very good at them. As a kid, I always had a lot of problems. I couldn't beat any of the games I owned, like Super Mario Bros. 2, no chance. I probably get to the second level, that's it. And I'm just not very good at them. I love playing games, but I'm not very good. It's funny though, because that kind of goes in reverse, because some games I'm really good at. I mean, like I beat Friday the 13th, I beat Nightmare on Elm Street, Back to the Future, I beat Batman, I mean, Castlevania, I've gone back and beat Super Mario Bros. 2. There's lots of games that I'm really good at now, but I'm still terrible at games. Contra would be a good example. I'm awful at Contra. I can't get past the third level in the original Contra. I can't get past the third level in Contra 3: The Alien Wars. So, yeah, I'm not actually, like, very good at games. I'm good when I sit down and put my mind to it, and I put a lot of effort into it, but I'm not the kind of person that's willing to sit down and really repeat something over and over, and that's the trick to the NES. You've got to be willing to go through a game over and over and over. I'm more the style of, I like a challenge that I can get through within 5 tries. I can play through. Maybe that means I'm not a hardcore gamer, I don't really know. I just really like playing games, and certain games I've assigned that I'll never beat. I said I'd never beat Batman, but I went back and did that. I had to, that was sticking in my craw. But I'll probably never beat Ninja Gaiden, ever. Last up is one that's kind of surprising. Like Billy mentioned, he's into modern gaming. I'm really into modern gaming. People who follow me on Facebook probably already know that. Like I have PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Wii U, PlayStation 3, 360, all that stuff. In fact, I probably have more Xbox 360 games, probably twice as many as I have N64 games. But one aspect of modern gaming that I'm not into is online gaming. I just never got into it. And you know what? I'm never going to get into it. I'm not the kind of person... I like playing games, sitting down and playing games by myself. I've never been a big proponent of playing games with other people. Like, there was probably a time back around Mortal Kombat 2, Super Street Fighter, where it was fun to get together with guys and we'd actually play games, but I've never been a big 2-player guy. So this online multiplayer piece came up, and, you know, I get a lot of people message me and say, hey, you know, add me on Wii U, add me on 360, but, guys, I don't play online games. I'm not into it. I don't enjoy it. It was really bad. I remember when on my PlayStation 3, when I first got Street Fighter 4, there's actually an option. I didn't know how to turn it off at first, where I was trying to play through the storyline mode. Then all of a sudden I get a notification, and it's just like, someone has challenged you from the internet, and I was like, well, this is not going to work. I can't play this game anymore. This is horrible. Anyways, so guys, I don't like online gaming, and I don't like that trend. It's cool for the people that do it. I mean, it's cool to connect with people across the world, meet new people, I guess, and, you know, keep in touch with friends, but that's just not my jam, so, yeah, online gaming. So now, the best part of the tag video is I get to turn around and spread this. Kinda like a disease. Anyways, I'm going to use this for a little bit of retribution because I had to do a tag video a little while ago. So, I'm going to punish the people that tag me. In fact, I'm not really punishing them. These are all awesome guys, and you know what? I'm very happy to call them out. First up, I'm going to call out OKChief420. I don't know if you'll see this, Rich, but hopefully you do. And if you do, tag you're it, my man. Next up is the person that originally first tagged me on the last video, and one of my favorite people on YouTube, much like the GameChasers, also one of the very first people I ever subscribed to, EdT1138. Ed, you're up. You're also tagged. Let's hear 5 gaming things about you that no one probably cares about. I care about it, that's why I'm asking you. Last but not least, my usual whipping boy. He's not really my whipping boy. He's actually one of my best friends on YouTube, and someone I'm so happy is back making videos again. And in fact, I'm hoping this helps to get him to stop playing Red Faction. For God's sakes, just give it up. It's enough. Still playing Red Faction. My boy, Weekend Game Guy. Did I just say my boy? That's so stupid. Anyways, Chris, Weekend Game Guy, I want to hear 5 random gaming things about you, so let's hear what you have to say. Anyways, this is Michael B, the Game Genie, and I guess it's time to go.